is it still coming? Someone who's alive, could they just take that? Why is it still coming? If you want to go out there on the street, have at it. But I do not have time for your candy-ass hero shit. It's gotta be a mistake.
Mistake. Army don't make mistake. Do what it do.
You try and kiss me, bro?
Jesus
Christ,
I
have like I don't know. Listen, it's not a homophobic thing. All right. You're just not the one for me, Cal.
Be in crime, right? Not without being a little criminal. I just want to find out what's going on between those ears. Aside, of course, from Egyptian reggae.
That's Greg.
Unconvincing.
What do you mean unconvincing? That's Greg. I'm getting this dog.
No, you like the idea of a dog.
Anybody who has a dog likes the idea of getting a dog. It's why they got the dog in the first place. Woman's died. But right now, we can't give you any more than that. That's all we got. Thank you.
Detective Harper, is it true you knew her?
I mean, I got in trouble one more time pretty bad in 2009. That's when everything kind of shifted for me. But like, that's when I stopped drinking. And yeah.
Oh, you don't drink?
I do not.
You do not for how long?
Since 2009.
2009.
Nice, congratulations, that's a long
2004.
time.
What if the actor who built a career on portraying unbreakable, haunted men once stood in a jail cell, convinced his life was over after one reckless punch?
He got knocked out standing up, and he fell down and he cracked his head on the pavement. And his friends all kind of jumped on me. I tried to put my back against a tree and do what I could.
Born Jonathan Edward Bernthal on September 20th, 1976, in Washington, D.C., this 5 feet 11 inches powerhouse grew up in a tight-knit family in Cabin John, Maryland. Son of Joan Lurie Marks and prominent lawyer Eric Lawrence Bernthal.
My parents were sort of the parents in D.C. that kind of like, you know, where we grew up, if you were ever in trouble, they all had their own sort of specific and unique and separate and private relationships with friends. So if you were in trouble, you'd go to my dad.
John's lineage carried creative weight. His paternal grandfather, Murray Bernthal, was a respected musician and producer known for vaudeville acts and Syracuse productions. His brothers forged impressive paths. Nicholas became an orthopedic surgeon and professor at UCLA, while Thomas rose as a 3-time Emmy-winning NBC producer before founding Kelton Global and marrying Sheryl Sandberg.
I was wildly disappointing as a son. As you know when you talk about my brothers.
Yeah, let's hit it. So Nick is an orthopedic surgeon and professor at UCLA.
Oh, he's done his research.
He's the head of oncology and orthopedics at UCLA. Whoa. He's like truly went to Princeton, All-American football player, played basketball.
This is a bummer
there.
of an older brother to have.
No, that's my little brother, bro.
Oh, that's your little
That's my little brother. Yeah,
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
but listen,
yeah.
the older brother fucking was working in the Clinton administration and comms in the White House. Is that a miss?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. But hang on. Don't give him that one, too. Shit, bro. It's hard enough.
Cousin Adam Schlesinger, the Fountains of Wayne frontman behind hits like Stacy's Mom, brought rock and roll energy to the family tree before his tragic 2020 death from COVID complications. Yet young John openly called himself a troublemaker, a restless kid at Sidwell Friends School, a Quaker institution emphasizing equality and nonviolence, where he graduated in 1995. The school's peaceful ethos clashed with his inner turmoil, but it planted seeds of empathy he credits today. Tease his reflections on those formative years. Buckle up, because the raw jailhouse promise that kickstarted his sobriety will hit hard, the on-set Hollywood bully he called out pre-scandal will shock you, and the family health scares that tested his resolve will leave you breathless. John enrolled at Skidmore College in 1998, drawn to its liberal arts vibe in Saratoga Springs, New York, but the structured life didn't fit. He dropped out after a year, lost in aimless defiance and sports obsessions like football and boxing.
I went to Skidmore to play baseball, and it was at Skidmore, where I started acting.
Then came a theater class he mistook for an easy ride to drop acid and watch movies. In a small acting group of just 7, he fabricated a gut-wrenching show-and-tell story about his dying mother, giving him a catcher's glove. The room dissolved in tears, including his own. The lie exposed raw emotional access, but his teacher, Alma Becker, confronted him harshly for violating trust, yet recognized the spark. She forced an audition as punishment. That performance became his first play, igniting a passion.
So I took a class. I thought it was going to be this big kind of, there was an intro to theater class that was, all the athletes took, and you would sit in the auditorium, and I heard you could just sort of take acid and sit in the back and watch movies. So I was like, that is for me.
Yeah, that sounds
and
great.
I ended up, because I'm a total shitbag, in the intro to acting class, which was the serious acting student class. And I'd never seen anything like this before. And the first assignment was to bring in something that you really cared about to share it with the class. And everybody was sitting on the floor, which I thought was the weirdest thing in the world. Like, why are we sitting on the floor? And they were going around person by person, theater people sharing, and they were taking it so seriously, like that, really like emoting, and it just dawned on me. One, I totally didn't bring anything, but it was working. It's just like I never thought to bring in an assignment. Anyhow, it was slowly but surely, working its way to me. And the only thing I thought to do was to get my catcher's glove, because I was going to fall practice right afterwards. And I kind of launched into this story about how my mother had given me this glove on her deathbed, and my mom's like alive and well.
Oh my God,
yeah. I just thought that was sort of acting.
Becker, now tattooed on his arm, saw his potential and pushed him relentlessly, essentially saving him from a downward spiral.
You go to Moscow on the advice of one of your acting teachers?
Yeah, this woman, Alma Becker, I have her name tattooed right here. She was my first acting teacher.
But could theater tame the fire raging inside? Becker's advice sent Jon to Russia in 1999 for the prestigious Moscow Art Theater School, a storied institution founded by Stanislavski.
This teacher says, what you might want to think about doing is going and studying in Moscow?
Yeah, I didn't know, man. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Once I started acting, it was baseball and acting.
Is this like 96? What year is this?
This was, I went to Russia in 98, and then I was there from 98 to 2001.
Wow.
3 years?
Yeah, 2 years. I first went for a year, and that was like to be, in the Russian school, and she had hooked it up, got me an audition.
He landed in a brutal, mob-shadowed world post-Soviet collapse. Guns drawn in streets, women harassed openly, economic despair everywhere. Training was merciless. Daily ballet, acrobatics, synchronized exercises, and etudes that culled 10,000 applicants down to 100, then halved yearly with ruthless cuts. No English spoken, everything through a translator named Max. To survive financially, he played catcher for a professional baseball team in the European Federation, earning $25 a game for Georgian feasts and vodka-fueled nights with locals.
Just while I was there to make a little bit of money, Moscow had just gotten a team. It was interesting there because, Russian baseball was sort of this thing, all these new sort of American things were kind of popping out. You really had very different Russias and very different Moscow. There was the Moscow that all the kids that I went to school with, they were coming in, their whole families from the Ural Mountains, eating off a hot plate, really destitute, but, at night it was drinking vodka, singing, rapping, playing theater games. No one had any money, so it was like you scrounged together what you had to do. That was the Russia that I kind of knew. But there was this other thing with the mafia, and it was this fascination with American culture and these sort of American restaurants and McDonald's, and one of the things was baseball. So there was this new thing in Russia where these mafia guys would go with their model girlfriends and go watch baseball games.
The experience forged iron discipline amid chaos, teaching him resilience and cultural humility. He also navigated cultural shock. On day 3 in Russia, he intervened in a car assault that earned him a gun to the temple, reminding him he was a nobody in a lawless system.
Mercedes pulls up in front of me, and these two guys get out of the front seat, and they reach into the back seat, and they grab something out, and I see it's this woman with beautiful red hair, and she's in like a beautiful cocktail dress, and they're pulling her out of the back seat of this Mercedes. And I'm the only one on the street, and they clearly don't see me, but this woman sees me. She makes like direct eye contact with me, and they're pulling her out of the side. They're pulling her out of the back seat. She's not fighting them, but she's not helping them either. She's just like completely limp and just being dragged. They take her over to this building, and they just start like opening her head up against the side of this building. They just start smashing her head. So I like forgot where I was, and like I ran at this guy, and I grabbed him, and in English, I'm like, man, are you doing? What are you doing? And he just pulled out a gun and he just put it like right to my forehead. And he said in English, he's like, go away, like that. And, you know, Joe, I knew like in an instant, man, I knew in an instant that like it was like I was a bug, like that was a different, you know, I'd seen guns before, I'd seen stuff before. I just knew that this was a completely different level. And so, you know, I walked away listening to that, listening to what they were doing. And you know, it was like day 3.
Scouted by Harvard's Institute for Advanced Theater Training director during Moscow.
When I was in Russia, Harvard has a graduate school.
Sorry, that's
No, it's
really
okay.
relevant. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I don't know if it's relevant, but they saw me in they would bring their MFA students there. They saw me in a show. They're like, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
So they offered me a spot and to go to I was like, Harvard?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
To go to graduate school.
To go to graduate school, even though I never went to college. I didn't finish college and I didn't.
I didn't even know one could do that.
Me neither. But then you go back to Russia, but this time as a Harvard student, which is a totally different thing. And that was an extraordinary thing too. But yeah, then, you know, they have like, you know, they do these like showcases and stuff and I got an agent.
So you have a master's from Harvard.
Yeah.
Jon earned his MFA in 2002 and relocated to New York. He dove into over 30 off-Broadway and regional plays, founding his own company, Fovea Floods, now defunct, and embracing method acting to channel inner turmoil. Small TV roles trickled in. Boston Legal as a Suspect.
Okay, Lori. Now, this might come as a shock to you, but there's no entry-level office training program for felons, okay?
CSI, Miami, in a guest spot.
Yet we found you in her reject pile.
Girl's a bitch. Okay? She told me that I'd never be a client of hers. Too ugly.
How I Met Your Mother, Season 1.
I figured, you know, since it didn't work out between us and now we can just laugh about it. Anyway, Robin, this is
Carlos.
In 2004, he starred in the film adaptation of Tony N, Tina's Wedding, improvising through chaotic wedding scenes.
Forever, you know, it's more than brothers, you know, and you know, I love them, you know.
By 2006, he moved to Los Angeles, landing his first series regular on CBS's The Class, a sitcom about reunited classmates.
Really? Are you kidding me? I'm a contractor. I mean, who gets a job done on time?
Canceled after 1 season, despite chemistry with co-stars like Andrea Anders. And Day Zero kept him afloat, but auditions were brutal. One nightmare involved botching lines for a major role, leaving him humiliated. Tease the early grind.
Did you have bad luck with auditions?
Oh man, yeah, I did. Oh boy, Chaz Palminteri. When I first got there, I got this audition to star in a Chaz Palminteri movie that he was directing. And Chaz Palminteri is like my hero. I got a call that he dug the audition and that he wanted me to come to his house to have a private audition with lunch. So I get there like 6 hours early, like the psychopath that I am, and I'm like trying to get into character. I even called my mom, like, Mama, today's the day. I start walking up Chaz Palminteri's driveway.
You're hanging out in front of his house for 6 hours.
Yeah, just in the neighborhood, trying to get into the character, you know?
Yeah, good for you.
I mean, like a complete monkey. This is for real. Next thing you know, I'm in the back of a police car, I'm freaking handcuffed, and I'm trying to get her attention, but I'm handcuffed, and so like a complete maniac, I start hitting my head up against the window to try to get her attention, you know? And they said that they had gotten a report that there was a strange man leaning up against a fence by an elementary school talking to himself, and that was me being a complete weirdo trying to get into character.
But 2009 delivered a near-fatal pivot. Walking his pit bull boss, Jon spotted a drunk man harassing an elderly couple playing didgeridoo. The aggressor grabbed boss. Jon warned him off, but the man and friends pursued aggressively. One punch from Jon dropped the assailant, head cracking on pavement, unconscious. Arrested for felony assault, facing 3 years probation and a $2 million civil suit, Jon sat in jail, terrified of manslaughter charges.
He got knocked out standing up, and he fell down, and he cracked his head on the pavement. His friends all kind of jumped on me. I tried to put my back against a tree and do what I could, but they started to get the better of me. Police came. You know, long story long, you know, it looked like he wasn't waking up. I was like sitting there, handcuffed to the side. Some friends of mine came. I got them to get my dogs out of there. But people are like, from that party were pouring beers on my head, and they took me down to Pacific Division. Police were just saying like, hey man, like, you know, if he doesn't wake up, that's kind of that. Giving me shit about, you know, what's gonna happen if this guy doesn't wake up. And I remember sitting there on that bench, I was gonna have to sort of get in touch. I was gonna have to be the devil.
He made a silent vow, get me out of this, and I'm done. The man awoke.
But then my next thought, I just looked up and I was like, but if you can just get me out of this, I swear to you, Like, I am done. Like, I will dedicate my life. 1 second later, cop came by and said the guy woke up.
Jon achieved sobriety on July 3, 2009, committing to therapy and service. Would this rock bottom finally unlock his breakthrough or pull him back into the darkness? On July 3, 2010, Jon was freshly engaged to Erin Angle, niece of WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle and Eric Angle. Jon married her on September 25th in Potomac, Maryland. That same year, he exploded as Shane Walsh in AMC's The Walking Dead.
Shane, do you think I could have a second helping, please? Please, just one. You and me will be heroes. We'll feed these folks Cajun-style Kermit leg.
Nominated for a 2011 Scream Award for breakout performance, he described Frank Darabont's direction as lightning in a bottle. Bonds with co-stars Norman Reedus and Andrew Lincoln and other co-stars became lifelong.
You know, it's wild because I'm still doing this show and I'm still talking about those days to everybody that'll listen. We were all there supporting each other. We didn't know what this show was going to be. I think all of our agents told us not to do it, and there was something about it that we liked. There was this camaraderie between actors. You say like family and all that, but it's like, I mean, it was like blood brothers and sisters.
He also portrayed Sergeant Manuel Rodriguez in HBO's 2010 miniseries The Pacific.
Hey, everybody! This is JP and Manny. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Shane's death in season 2, Jon saw it as a gift, the best thing that ever happened to my career.
I'm a better father than you, Rick. I'm better for Lori than you, man. It's because I'm a better man than you, Rick, because I can be here and I'll fight for it.
He reprised the role emotionally in 2018's What Comes After.
I'm looking for my family. Oh, is that what you're doing? Looking for your family, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's not entirely true. One could argue it's my family you're looking for, right?
Post-2012 momentum surged. 2013 brought supporting roles in Snitch and Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street as Brad.
Sell me that pen. Watch. Go on.
Let me sell this pen.
That's my boy right there.
This pen. Do me a favor. Write your name down on that napkin for me.
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
Critics praised his electric presence in the ensemble. 2014's Fury saw him as Grady Travis alongside Brad Pitt, earning acclaim for raw physicality.
Army don't make mistakes. Do what it do. You from Missouri?
No. You from Chicago?
Nah, you from Arkansas, ain't you?
No, I'm from
Hey, hush up, man. Nobody gives a where you from.
His nose, broken 14 times from real fights and stunts, became symbolic of his trademarks, emotionally damaged, short-tempered characters. 2015 delivered Denis Villeneuve's award-winning Sicario.
Told you, all right? They came to me and they wanted details about her case, and yes, I did it. I gave it to them, but I never wanted it.
Plus Me and Earl and The Dying Girl.
Class, what do you have to say for yourselves? That is what I'm talking about.
And We Are Your Friends.
Tell you what, whenever you guys are ready to start making some real loot, you need to holler at me. You know, bring the boys. Do that. Think about it, huh? Tell you what, brunch is on me, all right, fellas?
He executive produced the play The Time of Our Lives at Edinburgh Fringe, June 2015. Marvel announced him as Frank Castle, The Punisher, in Daredevil Season 2, 2016.
Low life, any maggot piece of shit that I put down, I did it because I liked it. Hell, I loved it. You people, you call me the Punisher, ain't that right?
Jon initially hesitated on superhero territory, but was drawn by Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio's work. Critics hailed his gut-wrenching pathos. Co-creator Jerry Conway called it his favorite on-screen Punisher. The role spun off into The Punisher, 2017 to 2019, renewed then canceled. Jon performed his own stunts, channeling personal demons. Controversy erupted as alt-right groups co-opted the skull symbol. Appearing at the January 6th Capitol riot, Jon responded bluntly, F them. He defended its military use as pride for those in harm's way, but condemned extremist appropriation.
Like so many, I was so disgusted and heartbroken watching that video. And I really, really wanted to get out there and be part of that. But at the same time, I turned on the TV and I saw people throwing bottles at police officers. And to me, every single one of those police officers is a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, someone's best friend, and I was disgusted by that.
For his 2025 return in Daredevil Born Again, He initially walked away over creative direction, but returned to preserve the character's grit. 2016's The Accountant as Brax opposite Ben Affleck led to the 2025 sequel. 2017 was explosive. Baby Driver as Griff.
When you think about that, baby, mommy and daddy are getting it on.
Enough.
Now, where do you get off?
Right here.
Taylor Sheridan's Wind River.
I'm looking for my knight in shining armor. I think this is his trailer.
Well, shit, I'm a little short on armor, you know.
Prison drama Shot Caller.
The man you're about to meet has the keys to this yard. Treat him with respect.
And Pilgrimage as the Mute. Remaining silent on set for authenticity, earning praise for commanding, wordless intensity. But Baby Driver soured due to Kevin Spacey. Jon felt aggressive bullying and lost respect, calling him out publicly before allegations surfaced.
Hey, look, man, I remember being on that set, and I remember him really rubbing me the wrong way. You know, it's funny. Anybody who, I was working with at the time, and people in my life remember me saying it.
Sweet Virginia that year drew raves for his vulnerable Parkinson's-afflicted motel owner.
Okay. You put it down. That thing still shoot? Put the gun down. I'm not gonna say it again. I will shoot you dead.
In 2018, Jon reprised his role in Widows. Fatherhood deepened in 2011 when he had his sons Henry and Billy in 2013 and his daughter Adeline in 2015.
That hits me in a very weird way, being kind of a public person. When you ask me who I am, the first thing I thought of is I'm Henry and Billy and Addie's dad. Like, that's who I am. I'm Aaron's husband. Like, that's who I am.
Adeline's 2018 seizure-induced 3-day coma terrified the family. She recovered fully, strengthening Jon's gratitude. In Ojai, California, with Aaron and their 3 pit bulls, Boss and Venice appeared in Rampart. Jon advocates fiercely for pit bull rescue via Animal Farm Foundation and co-runs nonprofit Drops Fill Buckets with Nicholas, focusing on entrepreneurial impact. A lifelong Washington Commanders fan, he balances ferocity with empathy, discussing unlearning toxic masculinity.
I'm a father, and I'm a father of 2 boys, and I know the kind of men that I want them to grow up to be and the kind of young men I want them to be, and I know the kind of models of masculinity that I want them to see. I do believe in discipline. I'm somebody, my kids, they practice martial arts. I really think it's enormously important, not for them, but also just as equally important for my daughter to be able to defend themselves and to be able to handle themselves and to, like, these things are, these sort of cornerstones of, I think, classic masculinity are super, super important, but equally important is being kind, is being empathetic, getting in touch with a side of them that's softer, having the courage to do that.
In 2019, Jon Bernthal delivered standout performances in Ford vs. Ferrari as Lee Iacocca and the Peanut Butter Falcon. In 2021, he took on the role of Rick Mackey in King Richard, undergoing intense mustache preparation while navigating on-set challenges, and also appeared in The Many Saints of Newark, Small Engine Repair, reprising his original 2011 stage role, and The Unforgivable. He further expanded his reach into gaming through voice work as LT Cole D. Walker in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands and its sequel, Breakpoint. The year 2022 marked a major reinvention as his portrayal of corrupt Sergeant Wayne Jenkins in HBO's We Own This City earned widespread praise, with critics calling it one of the great TV performances of the century. That same period saw him take on the role of Julian Kay in American Gigolo and Mikey Berzato in Hulu's The Bear, a role he has continued through the present. His work on The Bear earned him the 2024 Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a comedy series for the episode Fishes, along with 2 additional nominations. In February 2022, Jon launched his podcast Real Ones, a platform dedicated to spotlighting authentic voices from all walks of life, including cops, gang members, soldiers, and activists, in pursuit of honest, unfiltered dialogue. Guests such as Deborah Ann Wool and Jamie Lee Curtis have brought a remarkable sense of vulnerability to their conversations, opening up in ways that few other platforms have inspired. Since 2009, Jon maintained shredded condition for Marvel morning heavy lifts, midday combat sports, boxing, jiu-jitsu, evening stunt drills. Diet: lean proteins, complex carbs, no processed foods. Injuries accumulate: broken hand, torn ligaments, even a pre-wedding bar fight KO requiring staples. But at 49, he prioritizes functional fitness over aesthetics. 2023's origin, 2025's Daredevil Born-Again Punisher return, The Amateur with Rami Malek. Netflix's His and Hers as Detective Jack Harper opposite Tessa Thompson premiered January 2026, topping charts and earning Season 2 renewal. Looking ahead, Jon has an impressive slate of projects on the horizon. He is set to appear in Christopher Nolan's highly anticipated The Odyssey alongside Tom Holland, and is co-writing and starring in a Punisher Disney Plus special presentation slated for a summer or fall 2026 release. He will also reprise the role of the Punisher in Spider-Man Brand New Day, due in July 2026, marking his long-awaited big-screen MCU debut. On stage, Jon is heading to Broadway in an adaptation of Dog Day Afternoon, appearing opposite Eben Moss Baccarat, with previews beginning March 10, 2026. Additionally, 2 other projects, Snow Ponies and Stingray, remain in development. As of March 2026, Jon Bernthal's net worth reaches $12 million, driven by MCU resurgence, Nolan collaborations, and $150,000 to $299,000 appearance fees. In the end, the scars that shaped his anti-heroes forged unbreakable resilience, proving true strength emerges from chaos. If these layers gripped you, drop your biggest takeaway below. What moment shocked you most?